One morning, a father and his young son were riding a scooter heading somewhere. The father was a man of ambition, always dreaming of a better life for himself and his child. As they rode along, the father noticed a group of boys rummaging through a pile of garbage on the roadside. Their hands sifted through the filth with desperate determination, their eyes filled with hope. Curious, the father stopped the scooter and walked over. "What are you searching for, my children?" he asked gently. One of the boys looked up and replied, "Sir, can't you see? We are looking for the golden fruit." The father's eyes widened in astonishment. "A golden fruit," he murmured. Then he saw it, a soft golden glow deep within the garbage. Something was shining like pure gold. At that moment, a thought took root in his mind. If my son gets this golden fruit, his life will change forever, and if his life changes, so will mine. Without hesitation, he turned to his son, grabbed his shoulders, and pushed him toward the pile. "Go!" he commanded. "No matter what, you must bring me that golden fruit." The boy was stunned. His clothes became soiled, his hands smeared with dirt, but what hurt him the most was his father's greed. "Father, I don't want this fruit," the boy said, his voice trembling. "My happiness doesn't lie here. I have different dreams." But his father didn't listen. "I am not asking. I'm telling you, get that fruit," he demanded. The boy had no choice. He stepped into the filth and began searching. His hands ached, his body grew tired, but he kept going. Finally, he saw it, the source of the golden glow. "Just a little more," he thought, stretching his arm toward it. But as soon as his fingers brushed the light, something terrible happened. His legs began to sink, his waist, then his chest. He was being pulled down. "This isn't just garbage," he realized in horror. "This is a pit of sinking mud." Panic gripped him. He struggled, he screamed, "Father, help me, I'm sinking!" But his father only scoffed. "Stop making excuses," he shouted. "Look at the other boys. If they can do it, why can't you?" The boy's heart broke. "You don't even see me struggling, Father. You only see the fruit." Still, he made one last attempt. With all his strength, he reached for the golden glow. But it was too late. The mud swallowed him whole. His voice faded, his struggle ended, and silence filled the air. A painful realization struck the father like a storm. He stood frozen, his mind refusing to accept the truth. "No, this can't be real," he whispered. But it was. He had lost his son, not because of fate, not because of misfortune, but because of his own greed. Falling to his knees, he wept bitterly. "I only wanted him to have a better life. I only wanted him to be happy." As he sobbed, an old sage appeared. Placing a gentle hand on the father's shoulder, the sage asked, "Why are you crying?" The father, still trembling, pointed at the golden glow. "I lost my son, but I did it for him. I did everything for his happiness." The sage gazed at the glowing light, then back at the father. "Tell me," he said, "did you ever stop to check if the fruit was real?" The father's grief twisted into anger. "What do you mean? The fruit is right there. Can't you see?" The sage sighed. He pointed at the glowing light in the garbage. Then slowly, he lifted his hand. Above them, hanging from the branches of a tall tree, was a single golden apple. Its brilliant shine reflected onto the ground, making it appear as if the fruit was buried in the garbage. The father gasped. The golden fruit he had sacrificed his son for was never in the garbage. It had been hanging on the tree all along. The sage spoke again. "You forced your son to chase an illusion. You never asked him what he truly wanted. If you had, he might still be alive. And perhaps, just perhaps, he would have found the real golden fruit." The father trembled as the truth crashed down on him. He had been blinded by greed. He had ignored his son's dreams. And in the end, he had lost everything. He collapsed to the ground, sobbing. But no matter how much he wept, no matter how deeply he regretted, his son would never return, and the golden fruit, real or not, meant nothing anymore.
If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Mendora Tales for more stories of wisdom, courage, and wonder.